police have confirmed that the firearm of Sergeant Leon Powell was the same one used by Vincent Taylor to shoot and injure a police officer on Friday. Police confirmed that it killed wanted man Vincent Taylor in an operation in Sandy Point on Friday. At a press briefing held at the police training school on Saturday, September 1st, Commissioner of Police Ian Queally disclosed that the weapon was recovered at the scene where a search operation for Vincent Taylor was carried out on August 31st.
According to our records, the pistol used by Vincent Taylor to shoot and injure our officer was the department firearm issued to our fallen colleague, Sergeant Powell. It was also reported that he was relieved of his firearm by his attackers during the time of his death. As I speak to you at this point in time, the ballistic works carried out on the bullets and other shell casing found on the scenes has just been completed. The results indicate that it was his weapon that he was relieved at the time that was used to kill him.
Taylor was wanted by police for armed robbery and as a result of investigations had become the prime suspect in the shooting death of Sergeant Powell.
On the particular premises of the incident, where he was located, permission was sought from the owner to enter the premises, and once granted, the security forces proceeded. While searching the premises, Taylor was spotted, and without hesitation, he proceeded to open fire on the officers. They returned fire. One officer was shot and injured. He is currently warded at the JNF General Hospital in stable condition with a good prognosis. Vincent Taylor was shot multiple times about his body and died at the scene.
The commissioner commended the team of police officers who were part of the operation, especially the injured officer, for his bravery.
I reflect on the police officer who is currently preparing to undergo surgery. He's been treated for a gunshot injury to his shoulder, and thank God he is listed as being in stable condition. He knew the dangers involved in the operation and the dangerous nature of the fugitive. As a result, he and the others went where many were not willing to go and did what many were not willing to do. Members of this special team are true heroes, brave, selfless, fearless, and protectors of peace and justice. I want to offer the highest commendation to these officers and soldiers who were involved in the operation on Friday. You have made your country proud. We are indebted to you in a way that we can only attempt to show with material things, because your contribution to national security and law and order are invaluable.
Meanwhile, Commissioner Queally said that there have been a lot of speculation relating to this incident, but noted that the outcome has given the police renewed hope in its fight against crime. He thanked members of the public for their cooperation and information leading to the death of Taylor, but said there may have been some people who harbored Taylor and helped him evade police. These persons, he said, would be found and brought to justice.
There were also others who were helping him to evade the police. The community he was found in is a close-knit, well-populated community. We know that there are persons who would have seen him and said nothing, and that there are those who were harboring him, feeding him, providing shelter, assisting him with travel, etc. Allow me to remind everyone that harboring a fugitive is a criminal offense, and we are looking into who we can lay such charges against.
The commissioner said that at the time of Taylor's death, he was carrying a backpack that contained a mask, a pair of gloves, tie straps, and a knife. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
Mr. Jeffrey Hanley, Labour Party candidate for St. Christopher 1, said that there's an urgent need for a national approach to crime that would involve all stakeholders. He was speaking at the Labour Party press conference recently, addressing the issue on crime.
There are elements of our society which are broken, and we have lost as a nation the sense of social cohesion and brotherly love that have for so long been part of our culture, of our federation. There is an urgent need for a national approach that would involve all stakeholders in our society. We have many times issued a call for national consultation on crime and have insisted that finding an effective solution to crime is not the sole purview of politicians, but requires instead a national discussion.
He also stated that if there is no help from the churches, then there is no hope for cultural and ethical transformation.
The Labour Party believes that one of the necessary first steps is to issue a spiritual call for a national day of fasting and prayer, a genuine call that is. The St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party is imploring the clergy to sound the clarion call for spiritual intervention to the crime situation as it threatens and unravels the social fabric of our great nation and reverse the gain that we have made as a people since our independence.
Dr. Terence Drew, Labour Party caretaker for St. Christopher 8, stated that there are a few solutions and policies that can be considered in addressing crime. He also stated that they should reintroduce the corporal rank in the police force.
My colleagues would have said, develop an independent commission to make recommendations about leadership of the police force and to make recommendations for promotion of officers into the upper echelons of the force. The commission will consist of members recommended by the government, opposition, and civil society. Commission will also handle all investigations into police misconduct and will automatically investigate the killing of any police officer.
The opposition is calling for a national consultation on crime. I am Chiari Morton for SKN Newsline.
Police in St. Kitts on Friday confirmed Thursday night's execution-style murder of Edward Ryan, a 58-year-old engineer. Ryan, who lived on Venice Avenue in Basseterre, was reportedly sitting in his vehicle PA 2783 outside the home of a female acquaintance in New Road when he was fired upon through the car window. Police received a report of a shooting incident at about 10:40 p.m. and responded. Preliminary investigations have revealed that 58-year-old Edward Ryan of Venice Avenue was sitting in his car in the area of Charles Halbert Street when two armed men approached him. They opened fire and he was shot several times about the body. A police statement said Ryan succumbed to his injuries at the scene. Technicians from the forensic department visited and processed the scene and took items of evidential value into police custody. Persons with information regarding this incident are urged to contact the Violent Crimes Unit by dialing 467-1887 or 467-1888 or 662-3468. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. Ryan's killing is the 21st murder of 2018. I am Sophia Lloyd, reporting for SKN Newsline.
For all your printing needs at top-notch quality, go to Digital Print Plus, located on Princess Street, Basseterre, St. Kitts. At Digital Print Plus, you get the best in business cards, letterheads, envelopes, wristbands, tent cards, rack cards, flyers, brochures, logo designs, posters, photos, architectural designs, 3D renderings, and so much more. Digital Print Plus gives you the best quality at competitive prices. Contact us at 767-7468 or email digitalprintskn@gmail.com or follow us on Facebook at digitalprintskn. Digital Print Plus for all your printing needs at the best quality.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like your boat when you're at sea and you get away from everything. Your home and the security of your daughter's things. And the car that you've had for too long. but after all these years, you just can't let go. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
Get a chance to win 3,500 EC dollars at KFC. Come to KFC and spend $25 or more. Log on to kfcsurvey.com, complete the survey, write the validation code on the back of the receipt along with your name and phone number, and return to any cashier. Draw date is in December. Celebrate the Christmas holidays with KFC. KFC is finger-licking good.
On the road to good health, you must visit Nature's Discount Nutrition Center on 4th Street. Nature's Discount is your first stop for all natural supplements to maintain the health of the entire family. Natural alternative medicines to heal your ailments. Natural weight management supplies to ensure you look good. Nature's Discount Nutrition Center also carries all of your sports nutrition supplies, cleansing and digestion products, natural health and beauty products, oils, organic and gluten-free foods, energy and endurance, and sexual well-being supplements. Nature's Discount Nutrition Center on 4th Street is open 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Monday through Fridays, and evenings 6:30 to 8:30 on Saturdays. Nature's Discount Nutrition Center, your get healthy, feel wealthy people.
A late strike from Harry Panayiotou was enough to give the Sugar Boys 3 points in their first ever CONCACAF Nations League match versus Puerto Rico on Sunday, September 9th. The match, played at the Warner Park Football Stadium in Basse-Terre St. Kitts, was well attended and was entertaining for the most parts, despite a 0-0 stalemate at the end of the first half. Both teams snuffed out each other's attack for most of the game, despite cut-in runs from St. Kitts Nevis' pacey forwards and occasional attacks from the visiting side. Puerto Rico's goalkeeper Cody Lorendi was up to the task with his excellent goalkeeping skills, which kept out at least 3 excellent shots from St. Kitts Nevis in the second half and keeping Puerto Rico in the game. The last 25 minutes of the match was all St. Kitts Nevis, as the urgency of getting a goal and eventually winning the match became increasingly clear for the home side. That goal eventually came on the stroke of regulation time, as Harry Panayiotou picked up a wide pass from the right side into the 18-yard box and finally slotting it past the Puerto Rican custodian, sending the home fans in a frenzy. Coach Jacques Passy of St. Kitts and Nevis was overjoyed after the match, describing the win as spectacular. He emphasized that defeating this Puerto Rican team is a major achievement, considering the pedigree of the players.
Couldn't be happier because Puerto Rico had an amazing team with a goalkeeper that plays with a team in the USL, Sean Berry who plays in the MLS, Hector Ramos who leads the league in Malaysia. They have a top team, and the St. Kitts and Nevis fans need to know that they have a top team, and we just beat a top team. So I couldn't be happy. We trained the week in the way in which football was going to pay us, and it paid us the way it should pay.
On the other hand, assistant coach of Puerto Rico, Juan Bertani, said that while the defeat was disappointing, they don't consider this a major loss, as they have young players that can soldier on in the tournament. He spoke through a translator.
We have a lot of young players, and they're all playing on different leagues, so we have a good set of boys. They're all going to be working very hard, and they're going to get back to training and focus on what needs to be done. They didn't see this as a big loss because they didn't think they should have lost this game, and they're just going to come back and play better and strategize and keep going forward.
With this victory, St. Kitts and Nevis has claimed 3 points in the first and historic CONCACAF Nations League qualifying phase. They will play French St. Martin next month in Anguilla, following a home match against Canada in November and an away match versus Suriname in March 2019. Sunday's match was witnessed by CONCACAF General Secretary Philippe Mogio, who arrived earlier that day especially for this match. 3 persons are in custody following the largest ammunition and second largest firearm find in the Federation. Police conducted an operation in Keys Village on Wednesday morning. While approaching the premises in the area, they saw 4 males in a yard. The men began running when they saw the police approaching. The police pursued. While chasing the persons, one individual threw what appeared to be a bag over a wall. Upon inspection, the bag contained what appeared to be pistols and a large quantity of ammunition. During the chase of another individual, police came across another bag. Upon inspection, the bag contained what also appeared to be pistols, a quantity of marijuana, and a large amount of assorted ammunition. In total, 6 firearms, 2.45 pistols, 2.40 pistols, 1 9mm pistol, and 1.38 revolver, and in excess of 250 rounds of assorted ammunition were found. They were taken into police custody along with a rental vehicle. 3 of the 4 men who were present were caught, and 1 managed to escape. He is currently being sought by the police. Technicians from the forensics department visited and processed the scene. Police investigations into the matter are ongoing. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. Dwyer Astafan of civil society group Operation Rescue is commenting on the government's performance over the last 3 years. In an interview with SK Newsline recently, Mr. Astafan commended the government in some of its policies, but chided them on its failure to implement its legislative agenda.
They have done some good things. I would want to say, however, that the first things that should have been done were to pass legislation and to introduce, not just to pass it, but to operationalize the legislation and to introduce policies and programs that create the framework for the new type of governance that was promised, based on integrity, freedom of information, ending corruption, freeing up ZIZ, and all of those other fundamentals that help to form the platform for good governance, accountability, a free flow of information to the public, because if public gets more information, it becomes more informed, and the democratization of the government media.
However, Mr. Astafan believes the Timothy Harris administration is more prudent financially than the Denzil Douglas administration.
I think in terms of fiscal management, this government is more responsible than the Douglas government. But there's also a lot of recklessness that is taking place. A lot of people are getting duty-free vehicles and duty-free things who should not be getting. A lot of slackness is taking place in government departments. We haven't been able to see actuarial reports for Social Security going back to 2008. And the law stipulates that they do actuarial reports for 3-year periods. The last one on the Social Security's website is for the year ending 2008.
Meanwhile, the former government minister also commented on the future of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, under whose auspices he served as a member of cabinet. He believes former Prime Minister Dr. Denzil Douglas should loose the reins of the party, but said this may be difficult for him to do.
Because God forbid, if he fell gravely ill tomorrow, or worse yet, passed away, somebody would have to do it. And the question is, what is the likelihood of the Labour Party winning the next election, with or without him? Does the Labour Party have to go in a restructure, reorganization, renewal phase? I think the answer is yes. And I think the reason the Labour Party lost the election was because primarily it was a referendum on Dr. Douglas, and he lost the referendum. He should have passed the baton to Sam Conda years ago. Sam Conda would have passed the baton to Timothy Harris, who would have been the Prime Minister now, ending his term, and the Labour Party would have been in office still. And if they had listened and stopped running up all of this debt and mortgaging 8 square miles of St. Kitts to the National Bank, and being arrogant, and all of this pork barrel, and throwing away all of these hundreds of millions of dollars from the SIDF, and lending it to Christophe Harbour and Kitishan Hill, instead of improving the infrastructure, the water supply, the food safety and security, the power of the country, the resilience for shocks, the health and education system. Had all of that been done with that $1.5 billion from the SIDF? And had Dr. Douglas allowed the baton to be passed, he would have been the elder statesman and one of the great leaders in the history of the country. The problem they have is, he is the man with the connection to the money. And none of them are anywhere close to that level.
Mr. Astvan has been a known supporter of Team Unity prior to them being elected to government. However, he has also been one of their biggest critics whenever he believes they have strayed away from their manifesto promises. He was recently selected as the chair of the National Security Strategy Formulation Committee. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. The statues of 5 national heroes of St. Kitts and Nevis were unveiled at the National Heroes Park on Monday, September 17th. The day was a public holiday in lieu of National Heroes Day falling on a Sunday. As the statues were unveiled, a representative, in most cases a family member of each national hero, read a citation of their accomplishments, while another family representative helped to unveil the monument while laying wreath at the base of the statue. The Federation's only living national hero, Sir Kennedy Simmons, was on hand for the unveiling of his own monument, along with his wife, Lady Mary Simmons, and son, Kenrick. Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris acknowledged the accomplishments of the 5 national heroes of the country in his address.
Their motivation was not a quest for personal glory or fame, but the defense of basic values and principles which they hold dear. And through demonstration of a sense of duty and selfless sacrifice, they go on eventually to win decisive battles that make a real difference in the lives of our people.
The Prime Minister said the location of the National Heroes Park, located just outside Connery, is strategic.
We chose this location, or the committee did, for its strategic positioning as a highly visible welcome point and gateway to the rest of the island. It is fitting that we should properly honor those who have made such a significant contribution to the development of our beloved Federation. It is even more important that we should do this not only once a year as we do today, but that they stand all year round to remind us of those who have led the way for our greatness as a country and people.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister disclosed that the government is seeking to convert the former residence of the Federation's first national hero into a heritage site.
In addition to the unveiling of the life-size bronze statues of our heroes today, there are 2 other initiatives relating to our national heroes which are worthy of note. Firstly, the government is seeking to convert the former residence of our first Premier, Sir Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw, into a museum where residents and visitors can go to learn about his life and times. I am happy to say that no better person could have been found to provide leadership and support to this than our esteemed Governor General, Sir S.W. Tapley Seaton. And he advised me 2 weeks ago that this project is advancing apace.
The Prime Minister also disclosed that Buckley's Plantation is also being developed into a heritage site.
The abandoned Buckley's Plantation is being redeveloped for preservation as a national heritage site of national significance. Cabinet has approved a committee, and I'm pleased to report that Senator Keela Byron Nisbet chairs the committee spearheading this national effort. We are looking forward to hear from them and their work.
The Heroes Day ceremony was attended by an armed force from Taiwan, members of the Diplomatic Corps, and other dignitaries. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. The 2019 FA Cup champions Flow 4GK and Rockets have gotten their 2018-2019 season off to a good start with a rousing 4-3 victory over the Rams Village Superstars to win the 2018 President's Cup. On Saturday night, Keon drew first blood in the 24th minute with a Carlos Bertie strike, only for Lawrence Jeffers to equalize in the 35th minute. But before the halftime break, Kurt Morton made sure Keon regained the lead with a 41st minute goal to end the first half 2-1. Morton continued where he left off when he came out in the second half with a 53rd minute goal to give an unassailable 3-1 lead over Village. 6 minutes later, Vince Roy Nelson made it 4-1, and there seemed no way back for Village. But a scuffle between Chavoy Rouse of Village and Keon's goal scorer Nelson led to referee Kimball Ward sending both players off with straight red cards in the 68th minute, leaving both teams with 10 men for the remainder of the match. Keon seemed to have taken their foot off the gas, giving the initiative to Village in the last 10 minutes. In the 85th minute, Austin Henry notched one in for Village to make it 4-2, and minutes later, the team earned a penalty, which was converted by Tyrone Hanley in the 88th minute. It was a nervy 3-minute stoppage time for Keon, but they held out to seal the win. Head coach for the 2018 President's Cup champions Keon Rockets, George Isaac, said this win will certainly be a motivator for his team as they get ready to start the season.
It's a good start for us, and we just have to focus on concentrate and enjoy more and go back to training and make sure we do a little much more better than to start out the league itself.
Village Superstars assistant coach Stephen Clark said coming off a long layoff between the end of the season and Saturday night's match took its toll on the players.
We gave up the ball too much in the defensive third and was not organized enough. Those things first game of the season, young come back and still confident.
You think the long layoff from the off season?
Yeah. And this is something happened last year for the first round. So they won the first game, they won the Garland Cup, and we see the result. So I still got confidence in the team.
The President's Cup is a precursor to the 2018-2019 National Bank Premier League, which begins Saturday, September 22 at the Warner Park Football Stadium.
The Cable, we provide much more than just the fastest and most reliable internet service. We fill the homes of all our customers with joy and laughter. Our services connect friends and keep families together. With the most extensive fiber optic network, we ensure that you can enjoy the things you love with the people you love. Whether it's catching up with family or old friends, or simply just enjoying your favorite TV shows, people choose the Cable because quality shows.
The National Bank Premier League in St. Kitts is back, and Voice of the Caribbean Radio is bringing live coverage with the SKNFA Match of the Week. Every Saturday evening at 8 p.m., Voice of the Caribbean Radio will be broadcasting the Premier League Match of the Week at www.voiceofthecaribbean.net or sknfa.com.
Shot taken, and in the back of the net!
We'll bring you the action through live commentary and analysis with pre-game, halftime, and post-game shows, live and direct from the Warner Park Football Stadium. That's the SKNFA Match of the Week on Voice of the Caribbean Radio in partnership with the St. Kitts Nevis Football Association, bringing live radio coverage every Saturday at 8 p.m. from now till the end of the season, only on voiceofthecaribbean.net or sknfa.com. Live football action from St. Kitts every Saturday on Voice of the Caribbean Radio, your Caribbean sports leader.
I am floored. That is a scorcher of a goal. That's the best.
Ricardo's Home Center and Hardware is your first and best choice in hardware supplies. Visit Ricardo's for paint supplies, screws and nails, windows and doors, building supplies, plumbing supplies, tools, cabinetry, lavatory and accessories, tile, cement and grout, water heaters, lumber and plywood, and much more. At Ricardo's, our services are second to none in the Federation. We offer paint mixing, screen repair, screen installation, window repair, security screen door repair, and commercial doors and locks repair. We also offer delivery service. So come by at Ricardo's in Needsmith Estate, St. Kitts. Call 465-9229, 466-1824, 662-3451. Email rhcenter.h@gmail.com. For the best in supplies and service, visit Ricardo's Home Center and Hardware.
Now you can have SKN Newsline on the go. Introducing SKN Newsline Android mobile app. Search SKN Newsline in the Google Play Store. Download the app free and stay up to date with TV news in St. Kitts and Nevis in the palm of your hands. With this app, you can watch your news reports, watch our live news feed on SKN Newsline TV, engage with us and other app users in the chat room, look at our special features, send us news tips, and call us directly. It's news on the go. The SKN Newsline Android mobile app. Download it free today. SKN Newsline is bringing you a new football web series. It's SKN Football Weekly, an in-studio weekly web series on the National Bank Premier League, showing highlights, analysis, and preview of the upcoming Premier League matches. It's a great way to start your weekend ahead of the Premier League matches at the Warner Park Football Stadium. SKN Football Weekly, every Saturday at 11 a.m. live on www.sknnewsline.com, the SKN Newsline Facebook page, and the Facebook page of the St. Kitts Nevis Football Association. SKN Football Weekly, Saturdays at 11 a.m., a production of SKN Newsline, your world, your sport. St. Kitts Nevis music icon Elston Elimat Nero, retiring General Manager of the Solid Waste Management Corporation, the SWMC, Mr. Alfonso Bridgewater, and former Director of the Department of Culture, Crichton Pension, are among 10 persons to be awarded the Companion of the Star Merit National Honours this year, announced by Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris on Monday. The Prime Minister made the announcement at the National Heroes Day ceremony at the National Heroes Park.
Help me applaud the work of Mr. Alfonso Barker as a business entrepreneur and in culture. For him, we have accorded the Companion of the Star of Merit. Mr. Kenneth Kelly, his partner, has also been recognized for business entrepreneurship. Mr. Alfonso Bridgewater, Sports Administration and Public Service. Mr. Crichton Pension for Culture. Mr. J. Calvin Foy for Policing and Community Service. Mr. Elston Elimat Nero for Musical Excellence, locally, regionally, and internationally. The ladies will take delight that Mrs. Sylvine Henry has been recognized for public service and community service. And those who knew the man, Mr. Hilton Clark, would applaud his recognition for service to education and the general community. The list would not have been completed without recognition for a musical entertainer and genius in Mr. Adrian Lamb. Could we give him a round of applause for sterling contribution to musical production and community service? My own head teacher at Keon High School has been recognized, Ambassador His Excellency, Mr. Sidney Osborne, for service to education and public service.
The Prime Minister also announced the Medal of Honor recipients for this year, which includes Calypsonian Sylvester Hodge, best known as King Socrates.
Mrs. Elenita Nathaniel for education and community service. Mr. Sylvester Hodge, King Socrates, Calypso and music. Mr. Valston Shield, King Starshield, Calypso and music. Mrs. Jacqueline Leader, Singing Jackie, for Calypso and music. We have added Mr. Errol Dolphin, King Arrow, in Calypso and music. And of course, what would Carnival and Christmas be and culture without the Mansion Bull? So we today recognize the sterling pioneering efforts of Mr. Lionel Gums Mansion Bull for contribution in culture.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister said the Cabinet is looking at revisions to the Honours Act.
I am pleased to report that the Cabinet shall look at revisions to the National Honours Act to ensure that it caters for the bravery and courage and other excellent work that is being done year after year, day after day by our sons and daughters. Today, in keeping with the National Honours Act.
Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. As the new law year 2018-2019 officially opened on Tuesday, Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, Janice Pereira, has reassured the public that the courts of the sub-region will continue to engage technology in improving its service and administration of justice. For one, the Chief Justice lamented the poor physical state of some of the courtrooms in some states and called for this to be rectified urgently.
51 years on, since the establishment of this court, little, if anything, has been done. Courtrooms are still housed in ill-suited buildings, which have posed attendant security and health risks to court users and occupiers. Whilst courtroom closures are understandable following the passage of hurricanes and the like, it is unacceptable that court users and occupiers have been consistently placed in harm's way in respect of their health and security.
While providing an update of the state of the courtrooms and judicial facilities in states affected by Hurricanes Irma and Maria last year, the Chief Justice was keen to point out that the disasters and the damages meted out to these infrastructure should not mean a denial of justice for the public.
Although disasters may cause the court to bow, disasters should never be allowed to cause the court and access to justice to become broken. Out of the depths of adversity, there are always positive and enduring lessons to be learned.
The Chief Justice also highlighted the challenge of the heavy workload of judiciary in the Eastern Caribbean and how this affects the prompt administration of justice.
The Court of Appeal heard a staggering, I want you to listen to this number well, a staggering 1,302 matters consisting of full court hearings, chamber hearings, video and teleconferences, status hearings. I ask that you point me to any other court in this region or anywhere else for that matter, which carries this workload.
Meanwhile, the Chief Justice spoke at length about the judicial reform taking place within the Eastern Caribbean, including the application of technology in the administration of justice. This includes the e-litigation project, which the Chief Justice explained will be cost-effective and more efficient in the administration of justice.
With the e-litigation portal, trial bundles and appeal bundles can be created and uploaded online with a click. This should be music to some legal practitioners' ears, who have sometimes found it difficult to prepare, collate, and index the numbers of required trial and appeal bundles.
Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. St. Kitts and Nevis political leaders in their respective independence addresses have all hailed the accomplishments of the Federation as the nation celebrates 35 years of political independence from Great Britain. Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris pointed to the strides in tourism, health, and law and justice over the past 35 years.
We take note of the prudent fiscal management of our country that has seen us record above average economic growth and surpluses year after year. We meet our commitments at home and abroad. We are current with our obligations to the OECS Supreme Court, the University of the West Indies, and other regional and international entities. We have achieved landmark marquee status as a cruise destination. More branded hotel properties are looking to our country as the destination of choice. Our performance in regional exams is above average. We are the first of the English-speaking Caribbean to be certified by PAHO WHO for having successfully eliminated mother-to-child transmission of HIV/AIDS.
Premier Mark Brantley also acknowledged the developments the country has made over the years, including socially, in public infrastructure and education. He said, quote, "Our achievements over the past 35 years have fully justified our quest for nationhood and self-determination. Socially, our nation is far more cohesive and inclusive than any other period in our history. Our decision to leave no child behind and to promote child-friendly schools has paid great dividends. Our efforts to expand our social safety nets and provide for those in need have touched lives in a meaningful way," end quote. In terms of the economy, the Premier said the Federation acted with fiscal prudence and managed the economy judiciously. He said, quote, "We have witnessed an increase in small, locally owned businesses. We have offered assistance for those who wish to further their studies at home and abroad. We have created an economic environment which is investment-friendly for both locals and foreign investors," end quote. Opposition leader and former Prime Minister Dr. Denzil Douglas said St. Kitts and Nevis is one of the triumph against impossible odds, which were only overcome because we did it together and we did it based on a shared philosophy rooted in optimism, decency, compassion, kindness, and most of all, hard work. In his independence address, the former Prime Minister said that it is this shared philosophy that has always made St. Kitts and Nevis stand out as a people and to punch above its weight. However, both the Prime Minister and opposition leader acknowledged that crime is a major issue affecting the gains of independence.
Even as we acknowledge our many accomplishments, we note that in some areas the progress has not occurred to our satisfaction. We are, for example, concerned with violence and other criminal activities in our country, and we shall provide a holistic and comprehensive response to this phenomenon in our state. Our reform and social intervention programs, such as the Explorers Club, the TAPS programs in our schools, etc., will bear fruit.
Dr. Douglas said, quote, "There is an unsavory undercurrent of criminality that has found awful antisocial expression and impact that threatens the security of our people and the economic viability of our great Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. The monstrous criminality tells us that something is desperately broken in our society. It tells us that if, according to one reputable source, approximately 70% of all reported crimes are committed by youths, there is a disconnect that has separated some of our young people from assimilating and benefiting from the traditional values and philosophies upon which our nation was founded," end quote. Independence Day celebrations on Wednesday, September 19th comprise the annual military parade at the Warner Park, then off to Springfield for the annual toasts to the nation. This year, the Guard of Honor from the Republic of China on Taiwan participated in the independence proceedings. Nevis also observed its annual military parade in Charlestown. The management and staff of SK Newsline and Voice of the Caribbean Radio wish our viewers and listeners a happy 35th anniversary of independence. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline. The St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association, the SKNFA, is organizing the first ever Crystal Awards. This is said to be a very prestigious football awards and black tie event that could see the likes of some of international football's biggest names in attendance, including the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, and the president of CONCACAF. General Secretary of the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association, the SKNFA, Stanley Jacobs, explains that the Crystal Awards is designed to award outstanding footballers in St. Kitts and Nevis.
The Crystal Awards is designed by the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association to honor the outstanding performances of our local footballers. It's going to happen on the 17th of November 2018. So many persons ask, what is the Crystal Awards? What is the Crystal Awards about? You've heard about FIFA Ballon d'Or. You've heard about FIFA Outstanding Footballers from this past World Cup. And so the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association has decided that the time is right to honor and recognize the outstanding performances of all our local footballers from the local league. And so the Crystal Awards is going to be a black tie event hosted at the St. Kitts Marriott Hotel, where we will honor our outstanding footballers.
Mr. Jacobs said the Crystal Awards is going to be a very important event, and already they have confirmed the participation of the president of CONCACAF, the confederation that governs football in North America, Central America, and the Caribbean.
This is going to be a very important event, and so already we are in discussions with a number of dignitaries from all across the football globe who are looking to converge in St. Kitts and Nevis for this auspicious event. Already, we have confirmed the attendance of the CONCACAF president and possibly the CONCACAF general secretary, who will be in St. Kitts and Nevis for this event. We are speaking to other possible candidates, including the FIFA president himself, Mr. Gianni Infantino. And so it's going to be an exciting event. Our special guest, yet to be confirmed, is going to be a high-profile athlete. And so we want everyone to save the date, November 17, 2018, Marriott Hotel, where we will put on a spectacular event, the SKNFA Crystal Awards.
Meanwhile, the SKNFA official is reaching out to the corporate community and fans alike to support the Crystal Awards.
The price for this extravagant Crystal Awards is only $250 per person. It is going to be a sit-down black tie dinner affair. And so we want persons to come out and support this event. We're going to make a special appeal to the corporate community to come on board and to be a major sponsor of this event. We have a number of sponsorship packages that you can call our office at 466-8502 and get more information on these sponsorship packages.
The Crystal Awards has as its theme performance, appreciation, and recognition. It will attract approximately 500 persons from the local communities, government officials, and the private sector. The theme captures the event's intent to highlight the positive achievements of our young people through football. The first Solid Waste Management Corporation National Cleanup Campaign this past weekend has been deemed a success. The first project involved Sandy Point and communities in central Basseterre. Bins were laid on Durant Avenue, Cunningham Street, Upper Market Street, and McKnight, where white goods and bulky waste not normally picked up by the SWMC trucks were disposed of in bins laid out by the Solid Waste Management Corporation and D&D Waste Services. In Sandy Point, bins were placed and replaced multiple times in order to accommodate the large volume of garbage that was being disposed. On Downing Street, for example, residents said the bins were emptied and replaced 3 times, and yet by Sunday evening was filled with more garbage. In Stadium View Sandy Point on Monday, a resident told the SWMC reps that the initiative was a good one.
Wonderful job in the community because the need was there, but you all fulfill it the right time, and we say God bless.
Meanwhile, operations manager at the SWMC, Mr. Keith LePhilip, during Tuesday's broadcast of the radio program Talking Trash on WinFM 98.9, said the cleanup campaign this past weekend was a success.
The feedback from the general public has been great, and we continue to encourage our residents to work with us at the Solid Waste. Now, this initiative just involves us putting out a number of bins. So we've placed a number of bins in the various communities. And we invite the members of those communities to take their waste to the bins and to deposit their waste in the bins.
He, however, cautioned residents not to dump garbage next to the bins, but instead inside the bins, as was the case in one of the pickup areas in Sandy Point.
As the bins get filled, we attempt to move them. But you'll realize that we have been moving bins from Sandy Point, we have been moving bins from Basseterre. And so the logistics of moving the bins, plus the fact that the Island Main Road is under construction. And so that made it extremely difficult for us to move as we would have preferred. And what resulted? What resulted is that persons, when they came to some of the bins and they realized that the bins were full, they put their items on the ground. No, please. Now, this is where I take my departure. That we are making the bins available. The least you can do is to work with us. Now, when you put your items on the ground, who do you expect to take them up?
The campaign continues this weekend in communities spanning Otleys to Harris's. Details of this campaign will be disseminated in a subsequent report.